Dialogue machine, lover of cinema, iconic foot lover, big chin enthusiast. This man goes by many names, but he just prefers to be called Quentin. Quentin Tarantino. His films bring many praises, being awarded Oscars and a cult-like following for all of his films, collecting an enthusiastic and dedicated fan base.
Fans of his works call themselves Tarantino-philes, or Quentinites. Experts reserve the term Quentinologists.
But amongst his well-celebrated filmography, there's always one film which I find goes underappreciated, skipped, and completely under everyone's radar. And that is The Hateful Eight. The Hateful Eight is Tarantino's 8th film, and follows the events that unfold at Minnie's haberdashery during a blizzard, leaving 8 strangers with differing levels of hatefulness stranded in this haberdashery, which soon turns into some kind of breeding ground for hatred, revenge, and frostbite.
Like eight really bad people trapped in a haberdashery / saloon in the middle of a blizzard, in the middle of nowhere.
Really?
Facing each other with, I don't like you either.
Wow.
I don't like you either, and they've all got guns.
Now everyone can agree that The Hateful Eight is not a bad film, but they also agree that it's no one's favourite Tarantino film. It's my favourite Tarantino film.
Why do you suppose I just hurled a chair at your head, Neiman?
I don't know.
Sure you do.
This is one of Quentin Tarantino's best works, and it's time I show all of you why you're sleeping on this film and it deserves to be watched and needs its recognition as the masterpiece that it is. And if you disagree,
Hey, Paul!
what makes The Hateful Eight so good is because of how it takes Tarantino's usual strengths and takes them to the next level. In particular, Tarantino's strength with dialogue and character. This film takes place in one location with only 10 characters and clocks in at approximately 2 hours and 50 minutes long. But this film somehow still manages to be gripping, intense, and amazing till the very end.
I said, goddamn!
How? Because of the way Tarantino writes and uses his story and characters to fully carry the film. Couple that with an uncomfortable environment and solid performances, and you've got yourself a top tier Tarantino experience.
But I'm not done yet!
The Hateful Eight also has something else which sets it apart from his other works, and that is its atmosphere. None of his other movies have the atmosphere that The Hateful Eight does. The closest I can think of is maybe Django or Inglourious Bastards or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but none of those have the through and through atmosphere of dread, isolation, and never-ending frost like The Hateful Eight does. The whole film has a never-ending sense of dread and unease, and the film highlights this mainly from its use of its soundtrack, and its soundtrack is maybe its main force other than the points I've said before. The whole soundtrack has a classic feel and is also largely non-diegetic, meaning that it can be however grand and small as the scene requires it to and doesn't need to fit in with the character's surroundings. It also helps that the soundtrack itself is absolutely 10 stars. It's a proper chef's kiss soundtrack, and that is probably because the one who's composing it is Hollywood legend Ennio Morricone, and you can tell he was having an absolute banger in the studio making this certified fresh track. Even from the very first scene, the atmosphere and hopelessness of the whole film is perfectly encapsulated. It's just a shot of Jesus on the cross, covered in snow, made out of wood, in the middle of nowhere in this barren, frosty wasteland. Almost something you'd see in a western, but flipped to make it even colder, menacing, and more frightfully isolated. Just a symbol of Christianity in the middle of nowhere, abandoned. This completely sets the tone for the rest of the film to come. So, for those who haven't seen it or have been sleeping on it, or just haven't seen it in a long minute, give it a watch. You just might enjoy it.